Hi, so I continue doing series of videos about David Kibbe's new book. Very important that you watch my previous video that I did 1 week ago, where I showed you in detail each transformation, each reveal that he did, and also all the logic behind it, how he described those outfits and why he created them the way he created them. So it's very interesting, you should watch that first. And I'm also comparing it to his first book reveals too. I didn't give you any of my personal viewpoint on those reveals in my last video. I was just presenting you the information how it was in the book. The amount of things that he described in his first and second book is priceless for me personally. It changed my life, not only my life, but I know life of many women around the world. You know, if you only judge by pictures, that can make you doubt a little bit, because not everything that he shows you would wear yourself. Maybe you just have different taste. Maybe you have a different viewpoint on style in general, and it's okay. It's perfectly normal. To me, the most important thing is how he used the words to describe different things. And the words for me already is everything, because now I can take what I like, now I can take what I know about modern fashion, and I can actually find a perfect example of these words that he used in the 80s to describe this in modern world, and it works perfectly for me. To me, there's almost like two David Kibbes. One described the physical laws in the subject of style. The physical laws exist. The question is how you understand them, how you apply them. Do you like these rules or do you like to break those rules? And which taste you have. The result will depend on that, but the laws were described, and I'm 100% into that. Another David Kibbe is the artist in his own universe that is creating art by making women shine. And he has his own taste. He lived through certain decades. He observed certain women. He knows history of fashion. He himself as a person is inspired by certain things. Of course, he's going to present us things that he's inspired with. I'm also inspired by certain things. And these things maybe don't always match to what David is inspired by. So my interpretation of those laws, of those rules, might be a bit different. So in this video today, I'm going to talk about these reveals that he did in this book from a viewpoint of a modern fashion and from the viewpoint of my personal taste. First, that theatrical romantic. The color of the background for the models in his reveal pictures is one of the colors in the palette for this particular person, which is great. For example, she's Dusty Summer, so he's choosing this blue color from a Dusty Summer palette to show her in this color. I watched some reviews of the book, and some say that the reveals are a little bit too 80s still. Yes and no, you know, like he was still choosing clothes that you can find in the shops. I can imagine this girl going like that nowadays, and I would never think she looks 80s. Actually, she looks very modern. Why they might say that? Maybe because of the pose that she'd been photographed in, because nowadays we used to look at whether street fashion or fashion magazines or online shops, and you rarely can see those poses now, right? So the poses now are much more relaxed, much less exaggerated. It kind of considers modern posing for high fashion. So this is probably why when we look at those photos, they might seem a little bit 80s. Also the backgrounds too. It's quite rare that now somebody is making pictures against very bright background, especially wearing bright clothes. Sometimes it happens. Flamboyant gamine, that's awesome. And I actually like her before clothes too, believe it or not. I think it's just the representation of modern fashion. Probably I would just do the pants a bit longer and the sweater a little bit shorter just to balance the proportions. Other than that, I love that. On the reveal, I love the clothes very much. And I think it's just the pose and the background again are slightly 80s. So if she would stand differently, if she had a more relaxed pose, I think it would look a bit more modern. But again, as I said, David is an artist. He's doing things that he himself is inspired by, which is very valuable. So on her hair, probably I would say her hair is very 80s to me on this particular picture. But again, I didn't see her in movement. Actually, I would love to see her, how she talks, how she moves. And the earrings also add that 80s vibe too. I think when earrings are made with very bright colors and they are very big or hanging, that also is giving a lot of 80s vibe to me personally. I love everything else, the bag, the lace bra, the combination of opposites, the colors that he chooses. On the makeups, purple shades for eyes and pink shades for lips. I think it's also a little bit 80s combination. Lately, we do more nude tones from the darkest gray and dark browns to light bright beiges and lighter browns. And we do different kinds of makeups, like it could be 50s classic makeup or sophisticated smoky eye with a lot of blending and darkening waterline. So I also can see that it's a little bit closer to 80s, but still he said that nowadays all the makeup is blended, and back then in the 80s you could whether do watercolor blend or you could do just a sharp line without any blending. So for different type he would recommend different type of makeup back then, and now pretty much everyone has same makeup, which is blended. Now if we talk about soft dramatic, I definitely prefer her after. In my personal taste, I don't like ripped jeans. I think they look very unelegant nearly on any woman, unless it's a glam rock situation that requires a leather jacket, a certain type of hair and stuff. In my viewpoint, she looks stunning in a reveal. Again, the pose and the background are a little bit 80s to me. The rest is perfect. I love the shape of the dress. It really suits to her. You know, soft dramatic is a very interesting type. They look amazing in big ornateness, in true glamour. When they're going out, that's their look. But many soft dramatics, they can't find themselves in casual clothes. She would not walk her dog like that, obviously. Also depends on where she lives. I think everyone has to know which casual clothes they can wear that would be both comfortable, quite simple, without attracting any attention. It would still look for them, so they would not look whether old-fashioned or too awkward in their certain shapes. So this is what I'm talking about in my new courses that are starting very soon. All the links I'm gonna leave under all my videos, and also my Telegram channel, my Instagram, on TikTok. As soon as it's ready, you will see it. So I love her makeup. I love her hair. They didn't try to change her hair color just to show the makeover, change the person so much so she looks absolutely different. And this is what I love about that. They just try to make her look more herself. I can just predict some questions of soft dramatics. What if they want to go a bit more casual? What should they go for? And same situation in his first book, yeah? The soft dramatic in his first book, also quite dressed type. Yeah, we could say that this type is quite dressy, just in general. A similar situation about theatrical romantics, right? They look amazing in glamour, so when they glam up, they always shine. Of course, it has to be done in the right way, but then how we can downgrade their style a little bit. Also, as I know, David Kibbe doesn't like all these basic wardrobes, all these capsule wardrobes. It's all very boring, as if everybody is dressed in the same clothes. And I totally understand that. It's his personal viewpoint, his personal taste on that. I see his viewpoint, but I think that not every woman is ready for that yet. I think it's a next level. I think if you live your life as an artist and this is how you want to express yourself, and maybe even you live in such a place where it requires almost for you to dress up a little bit to attract attention. I sometimes don't want to attract attention, but I just want to be stylish. I know even if I'm dressed with very simple things, I know I have certain style already. I already know what exactly I'm choosing and not choosing. I think it's much more important. And also I know there are many women who love basic wardrobe, who love capsule wardrobe. It makes their life much easier. So again, I'm going to talk about this in my new courses. We're going to really adjust all that basic wardrobe to your particular type. Now let's go to dramatic classic. I love this reveal a lot, but you know what? I love her before too. It's just in the picture before, this pose is not flattering for any woman. Like if you are standing straight in front of a camera, you always will look a little bit squarish and angular, a little bit more angular than you would look in a real life. So every time we're posing in front of a camera, we always want to go for diagonals. It just looks not for the purpose of looking slimmer or not angular. I'm not talking about that. It's just this picture just looks a little bit more alive. So I love her in this picture and before and after too, and I love this pose and after picture. I would still maybe not go for that background. So if I imagine her standing like that in the beautiful office, that would be great, I think. And I love everything in this outfit, and I think it's quite modern. I love earrings. I love her makeup a lot. Actually, one of my perceptions is that present time is the time of dramatic classics. For some reason, I feel like all this basic wardrobe with its balance and structure, it's reminding me of something that dramatic classics look their best in. Can it look good on theatrical romantic? Could be. But as you can see, this is not a glamorous look, so she would not go on red carpet in this look. It's business casual, upgraded business with some artistic approach in terms of colors. She definitely can dress down a little bit and go more relaxed. She definitely can dress up, and it would be cool actually to see her in an evening gown. That would be also a different thing, and we're gonna talk about this too in my course. I love her hair after. I think she looks absolutely stunning with this long bob that they did, this blunt ends. I love that they kept her curly hair. That shows you that geometry can be achieved with curly hair. You just make it blunt cut, and it gives that perfect structure to your whole look. If you remember, we were talking a lot about that classics look their best with symmetry, so we would do everything symmetrical here and symmetrical parting for the hair, but you can see here that her parting of the hair is quite far from the center. In my viewpoint, classics can pull off symmetry. Maybe other types look a little bit too simple with that, maybe not as sophisticated as with side parting, but classics are the ones who can pull that off. But as we can see, it doesn't mean that they don't look good with a side parting, actually quite deep side parting. Next one is romantic. That looks a little bit 2000s for me. Again, because of the dress, the pose, the background, and the curls, because these curls were very popular in 2000s when we didn't comp them. We just were making separate curls, and you can obviously see that her natural hair is not curly, so those curls don't look like natural curls. It's still straight by the roots. It made some beautiful volume there, so I would do a little bit more loose curls and combed. That would be a bit more modern in my viewpoint. It's kind of a glamorous look, but still it's a little bit more casual daytime dress rather than nighttime dress, I would say. The shoes are definitely evening shoes. She probably would not go for a walk in those shoes. Colors, patterns, shapes, everything looks good on her by description. She also might want to know how she should dress when she would be walking in a park, for example, right? In general, I love this, and I love that they didn't change her hair color. She looks definitely amazing with this hair color. Now let's go to flamboyant natural. And you know, he mentioned age here, so as far as she's very young, he went for this crop top, crop skirt, and remember in the first book, he was stressing the point that it should be elongated. You should not have this staccato broken line, and I can definitely see any flamboyant gamine going for that look, and they would look great too. Of course, the blazer would be of a different size, and as far as she has wider top part, the blazer should be slightly wider, otherwise it would just be squeezed here, and she might have those folds and wrinkles here. So flamboyant gamines just a little bit more narrow and straight, and flamboyant natural is a slightly wider here on top. So also he kept her long hair because she has this elongated vertical line, and she looks great with this free long hair. Again, the pose, the background, to me a little bit 80s, including the earrings, but I definitely love the look. I think it's very, very cool and modern looking, the outfit itself. And if we talk about the picture before, I'm not a big fan of too loose jeans on the bottom and very relaxed sneakers, and also that print on a sweater, but I love the braid. I love when she has no makeup on. Now let's go to soft classics. So I love the hair color. They made the roots much softer, which looks better on her rather than that harsh contrast, especially that she's light. I love that they made the hair color a little bit more on the cooler side. I love the pearl earrings. I don't like the bows on the shoes very much on pretty much any woman. They make that part of the foot a little bit too wide and slightly disproportionate. That feels like there's something on your feet. I think if the bow was a little bit smaller, more compacted, it would be a bit more delicate. But I love the shoes. I love the color of the shoes. I love the concept. I don't think the hairstyle and the dress, I think it's a little bit old-fashioned. I love the fabric though, and I love the concept. The concept is still great. By David Kibbe's description, it really fits perfectly. That hairstyle, it was very popular, especially in wedding hairstyles in 2000s. It's very hairsprayed curls, curl by curl. They're not very loose. That curly updo is not modern anymore. I would make it a little bit more relaxed, and definitely I would love to see her more in a casual look. And for the casual look, probably she would look great with just very soft slightly elongated at the front, clean bob, and definitely I would not dress her up like she is in before picture either. I would make a different length of her pants. The pants should be longer. The boots should be a little bit more delicate for her. All these platforms that don't work normally on soft classics, they make them look quite heavy. And that sweater also, I would make it a little bit less baggy, a little bit more compact, maybe a different color too. It's way too heavy, especially for a makeup-free face. If she had sunglasses or if she had more makeup on her face, black would work a little bit better for her. That's my comments about how she would look in her casual style, because again, if we dress up, it's one thing, but then how should she choose the basics? I know David Kibbe doesn't like basics, but I like basics too, I would say. I love dressing up. I love the concept of shopping by outfits and shopping for going out and making it all very bright, but I also love basic wardrobe concept too. I'm always applying this to modern women and modern fashion too. Now let's go to soft natural. I love this after very much. The only thing that I would not do, probably that hair is a little bit 80s for me. It's fluffy and back combed, very deep side parting. So all these three elements tell us that it's 80s hair. So if she had straight parting and that type of hair, it would look more modern and less 80s. Maybe it would not be super flattering for her personally, but it would just look more modern. Or if she had a little bit more glide surface of her hair, I think she would also look great. And I think in a combination with them hula hoops that are hanging there and that short skirt with metallic bag, I think it all looks a little bit 80s to me. I love the shoes. They make her legs very long. You can see that he uses a slightly chunkier heel here and some platforms. And in general, I love the makeup. I love that warm coloration on her. I love the leopard print. The dress itself is very cool too. The bracelet, I would also say it's adding that 80s vibe to me and the colored background. But I like her pose. I think her pose is very modern. And if we look at before, she is dressed a little bit like flamboyant gamine almost to me. But it's interesting. They all have slightly shortened pants and elongated top. That makes them quite disproportionate and very low to the ground. But he said that they all came in clothes that they usually wear every day, so he didn't change that. If I was her, I would probably just tuck the top into the pants, so that would slightly balance her proportions. If we talk about the picture before, I like her makeup-free face too. I like her hairband. Maybe too much black is a little bit too heavy for her. She needs some lightness in terms of colors. And I would still go for slightly longer pants. Soft gamine. So very cute girl. I completely agree with this bob. I love this dress, and as far as she's quite young, that all suits to her. And I think it's a very interesting combination of a pink and red color. I actually never looked at it as a right combination. I always thought as if it's just two opposite colors and you never combine them in one look. You whether choose one or the other. But I love that, how that looks, and I think it's a genius idea. That pose is a very flapper girl pose. It's 1920s. It's a silent movies. Very cool makeup again. I probably would add a little bit more of a depth there, maybe dark gray, dark brown, some matte colors, but it's my taste. I would definitely do a smoky eye for her, like the heavy smoky eye. I love the belly flats. I think she looks absolutely gorgeous in all of this. If we talk about before picture, yeah, of course, it's a modern hip-hop style with this when your ankles are wider than your waist. So I love that they kept her hair color natural. Now let's talk about dramatic. I love this. It's very expensive looking, and that is upgraded casual look, and that's a great look for fall or winter. We can see how he dressed her in this long vertical line where your eye travels from top to the bottom in a vertical direction, not outwards. Amazing makeup. She looks very fresh. I love the hair color on her. David Kibbe is very precise about choosing hair colors, and we can see that he didn't choose anything extreme for her. He could. She's a dramatic, but you can see this overall medium shade color because she's fiery autumn. Probably that's why. Is absolutely stunning. I love the hairstyle too. Again, it's a little bit 80s, but it's 80s old money kind of a style. And for her age, for her stature, I think that really suits to her. It's really upgraded look, of course. It's not like that super casual. You would not make your hair like that every day. I love the earrings. They are very modern. Now many people are wearing earrings like that, and I think just in general this look is quite modern. I love the pants, I love the turtleneck, the scarf, the coat, everything is just stunning. And I love her makeup too. Her makeup has hints of Tawny Peach with golden jade eyes. If I was her, I would experiment with makeup. I think she would look great with darker tones too, with more browns, with taupe browns. I think she looks stunning. Alright, that's it. I hope that was interesting. Let me know what you would like to see next from me, and I'm definitely preparing new, very interesting videos for you in the near future. Thank you. Bye-bye.